everything takes like 12 years to just fucking like finish monologue and continue happening.
No, Araki notoriously just has bad pacing. If you compare the manga, terms of how many chapters it would take for, say, an episode, for example, or how many chapters versus how many episodes it takes for a single arc, it's like, for example, one of the ones that sticks out to me is in part 4, the Nijimura Brothers incident. That's 2 episodes of the anime. That's 15 chapters of the manga.
Jeez.
And if you were to pace that out properly to anime, that would be 5 episodes worth of anime if it was properly paced.
Ugh.
So yeah, the manga is a lot slower. Is very slow and not super well paced. That's why you see ballooned figures like parts 3, 4, and 5, each being like 150 to 200 chapters.
Yeah.
Whereas their episode counts are only like 40 a pop.
I was having a thought, and I actually realized while you were talking just now that it feeds back into one of my earlier theories. Because I'm not overly familiar with Araki's work. I'm going to be completely honest. Outside of Jojo itself, I'm not too familiar with his earlier works whatsoever. But I realized that between the overly exaggerated, poses that Jojo is completely known for, I don't think it's ever actually been addressed directly by Araki. Not when I think about it, and verbously overtelling everything. I wonder if these things were overcompensation for Araki's relative inexperience with being a mangaka at the time. What do you think?
Well, see, the thing about that is that it's not an inexperience per se, because he had at least, albeit mostly one-shots, 4 published works before JoJo, including, most recently prior to JoJo, Bao the Invader.
Yeah, I know he did Bao beforehand. He might have done a couple of one-shots before that, but the main
he's done a couple of things beforehand, and this is actually wonderful timing, because a couple of days ago, at the time of this recording, the channel Hamon Beat, which does a lot of JoJo explanatory content, uploaded a video called Araki's Other Manga,
nice.
which is about 20 minutes long, and it details everything else that he's done outside of JoJo in solid detail. So if you want to know more about that, that's a video that I would recommend looking up.
Alright, so maybe not, it could be inexperience is why he's doing the rampant dialogue and the poses to compensate for what he's trying to do, but it could also be maybe he's self-conscious about his art, so he's trying to do things in order to make up for what he perceives as lackings. This is not a dig against him, by the way. Like, everyone starts off at a certain place, and you need ways to adapt into your art, and we know, you and I both know, he gets really good by even, like, part 4's ending. Like, he gets pretty damn good at his art.
The thing is, it really does come down to the fact that it was the style at the time.
Yeah, definitely. Like, overly showy, masculine perception that wasn't, like, strictly focused on, like, showing and not telling. I could believe that.
The irony about that is that the 80s were loaded with a ton of muscle-bound god in manga and Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
You have a lot of stuff like JoJo, of course. You've got Fist of the North Star. You've got Kinnikuman and similar such material. The one outlier at the time was actually Dragon Ball, both because Goku was a child at the time, but even early on into what would be considered the Z era of animation, even in the manga, they were still relatively mostly thin frames or believable human beings. They wouldn't get quite ridiculous until late Frieza, Cell, and of course Boo. They still actually looked like thin-framed humans, albeit muscular. So Dragon Ball was the outlier at the time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, Dragon Ball, like early Dragon Ball, you have like Tien shirtless, but he was like generally like pretty average build. Excuse me. Anyway, I actually do want to talk about that. So this mission is actually a fucking huge pain in the cock. I'm gonna be completely honest about this.
Does the weapon make it worse?
No, the weapon makes it... Okay, the weapon does actually make this version of Jonathan a lot more bearable because it increases his range. He has ways to, like, kind of do AoEs. He kind of turns into, like, a... like a weaker version of like a Dynasty Warriors character in a fucked up sort of way. Like you can kind of see it, but no, the reason this level is particularly painful is because you have to do, I think it was either like you have to take out the 2 zombies on the side and reduce Dio's health to 0. This is one of the missions I was very much on the fence. Like I kind of wanted to edit down a little bit because I do beat my first try, but it does get a little bit close. And there's a lot of these missions also have 5-minute time limits, but boy, does that 5 minutes not really feel like a lot sometimes.
What this reads like to me is in an old-fashioned beat 'em up when you're walking around and you pick up a weapon like a crowbar or a baseball bat.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, and honestly, the moveset with the spike is so shallow, it may as well be disappointing, but yeah. Oh, it's funny, because Speedwagon gets something similar to this later on, but he's way fucking better with it, and there'll be details as to why when we get there.
I'm so transfixed on his ass.
Yeah. Right, I think that was mentioned in chat once, but yeah, he does have a pretty thick ass there. Good shit.
It's staring right at you.
True. So I guess with Vampire Dio here, I can also mention this. You mentioned this beforehand, but yeah, essentially, there's a mode in this game where you can replay all the story mode with Dio, and I've been thinking about it, but the problems with trying to. So yeah, Dio is down. Unfortunately, we're not out of the woods just yet. We need to knock him out and then knock out his goons. And they keep regenerating green health because fuck me. Zombies are very overpowered in this fucking game, god damn it. Especially without Hamon. Anyway.
You can't hit downed enemies?
No, you can't. Also, Dio is regenerating on the side there. He's not actually knocked out yet. So either I have to reduce the zombies' health so fucking low that it's like I had to pretty much just like get lucky. I'd knock out Dio again. Luckily, the spike does do a decent amount of damage, but trying to also juggle 2 other enemies, ugh. This is one of those games where it does not handle group battles well whatsoever, and the developer, I can definitely tell, was being a little too ambitious.
They haven't had any red health for over a minute. How do they keep getting up? You've definitely hit them enough to maybe even kill them twice.
I think I have to lower. So I think they are slowly regenerating green health, but I think I have to reduce their red health so low that it's like.
No, but the other guy hasn't gotten up once.
The other guy I think is out for good. I think the one I'm currently dealing with, like I still gotta reduce his red health by like an iota. It's bad. This is not a good mission.
Yeah, this is pretty obscene.
Yeah. I thought for sure, I was like, ah, shit, am I gonna have to redo this? No, I'm pretty sure I'm actually about to win the mission. There it is.
Okay. But Dio still had green health.
He was regenerating, he was gonna get off the ground if he recovered all that green health over his red health.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Luckily, got it. By the way, I'm mentioning this now. I love the poses Dio has as a vampire.
Yeah.
Mostly in general. Man, I was gonna mention the thing earlier too. I'm gonna backpocket that idea. He has a lot of cool poses, but the vampire form really definitely helps bring it out. And now I can talk about this. Something I actually was talking about. One of the things that actually does make Dio a very interesting villain in hindsight, more so specifically in the 80s, is that he's a fairly effeminate man, which usually back then you don't see that a lot in villains or even in characters in general. Usually you get like the overly macho, like foreboding old men, or like someone super grizzled and war torn. No, Dio does kind of break that mold a little bit, where he is like a little bit more of a pretty boy and has a lot of depth to him at some points. Like, you know, even just like the facade of like cool facade, but something doesn't go right, he starts to lose his shit. Even just that.
Iraqi, even in part 1, was already doing the music and celebrity references. So even in his current form, Dio was already a play on David Bowie, and you also already have the references like REO Speedwagon and Dire Straits and the like.
Yeah, true.
Tom Petty.
I'll
so
admit,
on and so forth.
I'm not nearly into David Bowie as Taylor is, so I did kind of forget he was actually inspired by David Bowie. I'll admit that.
Remember that time where Araki did David Bowie 3 times?
Yeah, I do. One was Dio. I think one was Zeppeli.
Dio, Kira, and then Dio again.
Yeah.
And then Dio again.
Yep. Oh yeah. And then one other thing that... Do I even talk about this? It's such a small thing, but it's been bothering me more and more about Jojo as of late.
And yet, for all this, David, we never got the man who sold the world.
You're not wrong. Also, the animations you start getting here, ignoring the motion blur, is very fucking funny.
We were talking about poses a minute ago, though, and that also reminds me... I guess it really depends on which... Oh, there's the Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, there it is.
It depends on the series, but I also don't like the posing as a meme either, because most of it isn't even part 3 posing. A lot of it is part 1 posing. Like, you'll see people at cons or whatever and immediately tell they're a normie because they just do the Jonathan hand in front of his face pose, and it's like, okay... That's not a person I want to. That's not a person I want to make friends with at this convention.
It is like literally the most entry level pose you can get. Yeah.
God bless Kira Buckland at the 2020 TaioCon for actually doing a posing contest and have people basically doing the Dio Limbo Re pose.
Yeah. This though, holy fucking shit! Yeah, I'm strong enough that I can actually walk vertically up a wall.
They use that in the anime opening. So it's walking.
Oh my god, you're right. I haven't watched the anime opening in fucking forever.
Ah, fantastic.
So one thing.
Yeah, that's a. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've been thinking about how to word this, and I think I got it. So, oftentimes I find that it's more. This very much comes up a lot more with Giorno in my book, but Jojo. Protagonist coming up with literally the most pull out of your ass way of dealing with the situation. With burning down the mansion, it's like, I get it. You would sacrifice everything in order to just get rid of Dio, but somehow in the heated situation, thinking of that fire would actually be a way to bypass the regeneration. I mean, true, but damn, that would take a lot of work.
I mean, you say Giorno, but is there truly any better end to the fight then I'll fix that spaghetti?
True. Well, with Giorno, I realized that the other day, like, a 15-year-old knows that he would be able to use his stand in order to turn a brick into a snake, and then the snake, because it was turned into that, reverted from that brick that had the purple hazes, the poison attached to it, would actually create antibodies, and he can inject the antibodies into himself. That is really stretching it for me.
Okay, that's fair.
And I do really like creativity when trying to actually defuse situations and being able to beat opponents, but some of them get really fucking abstract.
He sent you flying.
He did, yeah. The crux of this mission is to actually knock Dio into the fire. That way the green health will not stop regenerating practically non-stop from the red, so... Yeah, it's very much necessary in order to actually have a chance of winning this. Luckily, it's not...
I love Soul Calibur knockouts.
Practically. This isn't really that hard, but except for this one bit right here, where, like, Dio is just outside of, like, the boundary where I can go, so I can't hit him, and he's gonna be able to hit me whenever he wants.
But a lot of your attacks knock him over that ridge.
Yeah, he's, like, right outside, and he can hit me literally whenever he wants, but I want to knock him into the fire, so it's like, damn it, come on, guys. Mission's not nearly that bad, though. Like, luckily, I want to say this might be the last time we actually had to deal with Part 1 Jonathan as we know him.
This actually seems like this would actually be fun, this one-on-one.
It seems like that, and honestly, this is probably one of the more fun and engaging Dio fights we've had so far, and I will definitely say that, but...
I guess I should preface this with however fun this game can ultimately end up being.
That is true. Also, you did mention the Fist of North Star. Holy shit, just... Looking at the ratio of like muscles and pectorals like that are bigger than Goku on fucking Dio here. This feels like if he was Ultra Trunks but without the shirt.
I don't know. I think these characters are still kind of bigger than Ultra Trunks.
You might be right.
Depending on the particular model and screenshot.
Shout out to a fucking BT4 mod I found where it actually made sleeveless trunks have ultra trunks. Love that so much.
Thank you.
That was great. Also, damn you Brazilians, get that mod English patched.
You're expecting the Brazilian to do an English patch?
Someone in the comments once said that they were working on that, and I'm not sure how much I believe that.
As fun as this all sounds, there's only one English patch that has my eye right now.
Which one? Do tell.
It's a work in progress, and it's not going to come out until the end of next year.
Oh yeah, that one you showed me.
Yeah. Yeah, let's leave that for now. Let's talk about that in its own context, because that's going to be a great opportunity to promote that, actually.
Yeah, let's not spoil that until it happens.
And down they fall. Wait, are they falling off the roof? Because they're supposed to be falling inside the house.
Yeah, I think they're falling off the roof in this context. Like, off the roof into the house. I think like a giant hole.
Ah.
I know we were talking about memes earlier, but one of the very funniest fucking lines in the entirety of this. Goodbye, Jojo.
Okay, that one's good.
That one's great. And it slept on so much.
But also people just going, "Ree" is the worst. I hate that. I hate that shit. Because that's the thing that people would also do at conventions in the vendor hall or wherever. Is just you'd hear someone like 85 feet away from you just go, "Ree."
You know, this is one of the reasons I try not to interact with fan bases too much. I let people come to me. And even then I bully people to make the really cringy ones.
These are the moments that make me curl up and die.
Borderline.
It's one thing seeing these on the internet, but seeing people in public actually do this.
That's rough, yeah. By the way, shoutouts to this cutscene, really not really putting much work into it, where it has the one loop of like crackling flames in the background, but no tense music, no other sound effects or explosions. It's just this.
You'd think maybe you'd hear the sounds of falling debris.
Like falling debris, like some sort of tense music, some sort of sound effects that isn't just, you know, fire. Oh, hey, you got impaled, yay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I think we might have actually heard Sonochi no Sadame when this was playing during the anime.
God, I wish. No dice.
I know they played the song at least a couple of times during the course of the actual anime. Like, it was used during the final battle with Cars.
Okay.
And I think they used it against Dio at least once.
I kept track on my most recent viewing, and no, it only plays bafflingly, because I think it was only meant to be originally a 26 episode run. It only plays at the very end with Cars, and I was very surprised by this.
Never against Dio?
No, weirdly, they never played against Dio. And if I would very much like to be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong here.
How dare you waste the talents of Hiroaki Tominaga?
Oh yeah.
But I guess now's as good a time as any to say this. 4 years ago, right after the end of Part 4 at a convention back in Arizona, we got the wonderful opportunity to see the quote-unquote, I guess is their name, Joe Stars, which is the name of the collective of the singers of the first four
Yep.
openings, Sonochi no Sadame, Bloody Stream, Stand Proud, and Sonochi no Kyoku. And also the singer of Part 4's third opening, which I forget what it's called offhand, but it's most famously known for Breakdown.
Yeah.
Live in concert. And God, that was a magical experience.
That was the best fucking thing. Jesus.